This is a video talking about some of the things that happened to me in India, some of the takeaways and insights that I got from it. And if you're interested in going to India one day yourself, or just want to learn more from my experience, then this is the video for you.
Ellen, what did you just do?
I just brought my ticket to India!
This is some good B-roll. Okay.
So I'd wanted to go to India for a very long time. I had a big dream of going to India, especially after watching Eat, Pray, Love, and just being really drawn to Indian culture for a very long time. I loved Indian food. I loved Indian music, just the vibrancy and the colors. I just thought it was so amazing. So to be able to go to India myself was just this big dream of mine. And I'm very happy to say that this year I made it happen. I got to go to India for the very first time. And it was one of the most challenging trips of my entire life, but also one of the most impactful and profound trips I've ever had. And this is coming from someone who has actually traveled a lot extensively. In 2022, I was a digital nomad living and traveling around the world, and yet still India was such a impactful trip for me. Being a digital nomad in 2022 definitely taught me so much about international travel, and it helped me get more experience when it comes to international travel, especially solo travel and being a female traveling by herself. But India is this whole nother level. I think even for me, who has had a decent amount of experience traveling internationally, I think it was still such a stretch opportunity and such a growth experience for me, because India is a whole world of itself. And if you've ever been, you probably understand what I mean. There's so much to it. For me, one of the big things that India showed me was just how resilient I can be, because I will say very candidly, it can be really hard. And it's not just the fact that I was mainly traveling by myself for a lot of it, not just that I am a woman and also a Southeast Asian woman, which, by the way, I didn't really see as many people who looked like me when I was there, so I naturally stood out and attracted a lot of attention because of that. Aside from all of that, I just think that there's components about India, pollution to the poverty, that can just make it a really challenging place to be. So I just want to be really candid about that. I think it showed me definitely how strong I can be after coming back from India and going through the whole experience there. I feel like just even more empowered. And I think for me now, as someone who is a content creator, as someone who is now running her own business, I feel like it helps me just remind myself that I'm a really strong, capable, resourceful individual. And that is something that has been a huge takeaway for me from my time in India. Another thing that happened for me in India that was very life-changing was it was really where I started officially coaching. Right now, I have my own coaching business, which is really exciting. It's my first year with the business. It was in India, actually, where a lot of my first experiences doing coaching happened. Earlier this year, I had registered my business, which was very exciting, and I was still trying to get clarity on who I wanted to help with my business and in what niche or in what way I wanted to coach people. And so me being very spiritual, I asked the universe, universe, please show me who I need to help. Please give me clarity on who I need to help right now. And what happened was I ended up going to a meetup while I was in Goa, India, and connecting with a guy there who was going through a tough time in his life. And I just instinctively had this feeling that I should tell him about this coaching business that I'm starting and to offer to do some coaching sessions with him. And it was really amazing because he agreed to do sessions with me. And this was very early on in my coaching journey. And doing sessions with him in Goa was so much fun, actually. We got to go to different parts of Goa together while also doing a lot of really deep inner work and coaching and healing together. It was such a beautiful, amazing, impactful experience for me. Based on what he shared with me, it sounds like it was really helpful for him as well. But for me as a coach, for me as someone who had recently started my business not too long ago, it was amazing to feel like I could actually help someone. And so a lot of the roots of my coaching business officially started in India. So India is a very special place for me. And fast forward, by the time I'm posting this, it's September of 2024, and I've since now coached way more people. And not only that, but I've coached people around the world, including not just in India, but places like Australia and France and Peru, which has been really amazing. So it's incredibly surreal to think about how a lot of the origins of what I'm doing now started and was fostered and encouraged in India. So that was definitely very life-changing for me. Another thing that happened to me while I was in India was that I really learned the beauty of devotion. I had heard about the word devotion before, but I think in India it was when it became very clear to me how amazing and beautiful and inspiring devotion can be. I say this because one of the big reasons I went to India was because of the spiritual culture there in many places. India is such a melting pot of so many different religions, and to see the different ways that people practice the religion, whether it's Hinduism, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Islam, it's so amazing for me to see just the way that people practice their faith. In our modern day, when there's so much technology and it can be so hectic and fast-paced, to have somebody or to have a group of people who are just so devoted to spirituality in their own ways, for me is so inspiring and beautiful to see. And I definitely got to see that a lot when I was in India. Like, for example, when I was in Varanasi, I got to see the Aarti, which is a really beautiful ceremony and ritual that they do there. And it was just so beautiful and amazing, and really helped me feel very connected to my own sense of spirituality. I loved it so much. I went to the morning and evening Aarti. I loved how the morning Aarti is about waking up the gods, and then the evening Aarti is about saying goodnight to the gods. I went to many different places while I was in India. I got to go to Mumbai, Goa, I got to go to Delhi, Agra, and also Varanasi. I was especially drawn to Varanasi because it is known as one of the holiest cities in India, and it is a very big pilgrimage site for Hindus. It is also one of the oldest cities in the world, and it is where Hindus go to get cremated, because the belief is that if you are cremated in Varanasi, you get to end the cycle of reincarnation. As someone who grew up in the US and felt like death was very much seen as a very taboo topic and there was so much fear around it, I really wanted to go to Varanasi and go to the Burning Ghat and confront the end of life for myself and see what that's like, to be around death and to feel what it's like in my body, to understand myself better through confronting this fear that I had and this hesitancy that I had versus shying away or avoiding it. And the experience that I had there was so powerful for me, and it just reminds me so much that our life is very precious, and I don't want to go to the end of my life or be at the end of my life and feel like I haven't done the things that I really wanted to do while I'm alive. And it really helped me realize that while I'm here, I want to impact other people in a very deep and meaningful way, and I want to use my life as a way of contribution to the world and to have my own unique contribution to the world and feel like I was able to really be here and give more of myself and my gifts and my strengths to the world. For me, it was really interesting because here I am in Varanasi at the Burning Ghat, and I didn't actually get to see the body being burned itself because I was part of a group and our group left before that actually happened, but I did see the body covered and I saw the body being placed on the wood about to be burned. And even that itself was just such a powerful moment for me. I think the takeaway here for me is I feel like understanding the end of life and confronting that reality helps me live more a full life myself and helps me be really present and appreciative of my own life in general. I think that's been very impactful and important for me in my own journey. So as you can imagine, there was a lot that happened for me while I was in India. It has to this day still been one of the most impactful trips I've ever taken. I hope that you can find some inspiration or learnings yourself from my experience there. If you have any questions about my time in India, or if you just want to share your thoughts, I would love to hear that. Definitely write it in the comments and I will read and respond to as many comments as I possibly can. My channel is about personal growth and spirituality, so if you're interested in these topics, definitely subscribe and join me for this journey, and I'll see you in the next video.